Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuits. And I was thinking about making some really super easy banners. Like really fast and really easy. So what I have here is a lot of the board games I buy for miniatures and like the game board parts and stuff. Come with cards, and this is from some game. I don't know which one exactly. But these cards, I have tons of these. And they're good because they have like a plastic coating. So they don't like... It won't like soak up moisture or anything. I don't know. But I think that would be good for what I want to do today. What do I want to do today? Well, I want to make a base. Or I want to make a banner. So I'm going to make this like a goblin-y looking banner to go with the goblin stuff I've been working on. So it's going to be super easy to do. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get a bead of hot glue on a toothpick. I'm going to stick it to that. And I want to roll it. And close it up like that. Then, I'm just going to jag up my bottom a little bit. Get some fire. Then burn that up. And I'm going to make sure I put that out. Okay. Something like that. I want my banner to be a little bit shorter, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to get a tiny bit of glue here. Like that. I'm just going to roll it a little tightened up. Like that, okay? Just to shrink my banner a little bit. Alright, and I'm just going to make it as wide as that toothpick. I don't think it'll hurt anything. So then I'm going to get my card. And I'm going to cut a shape for my base out of it. And I'm just going to cut kind of a haphazard circle. About that big should do the job. I'm going to get a piece of skewer. I'm going to use the pointy end. And I'm going to see about how tall I want my banner to be. A little bit taller, maybe about like that. I'm going to get a tiny dab of glue. Just right there. Oops. I'm going to twist that around in there. Get some good contact surface. I'm going to drag that around real quick and let it cool. Kind of hold itself up in place. Then, I'm going to get my stick. Get a little dab of glue on there. Oops. That did not dry all the way. I'm going to just roll that up and down until it gets good contact. Just like that. Too easy. Okay, now we want some weight so that this banner doesn't flip-flop all over. So to do that, I'm just going to get some hot glue. Oops. And a couple of these bigger stones. I'm just throw those stones into that hot glue. Just like that. And that's going to add some good weight. Oops. Just like that. Sweet. Okay. Now I'm going to get a little bit of super glue. I'm going to hold this in place. Just like that. Okay. And we need baking soda. Yeah, a spoon. Get that up on there. Hold all that in. Now, we just want to make sure everything's going to be more permanent. So I'm going to get a throwaway disposable plastic brush, a lid from a beverage, a little bit of super glue. I'm going to get that in there real good, and I'm going to soak that around, and I'm going to paint around the outside of this to add like the ground texture. Okay. So I'm going to paint around here with the super glue, and then I'm going to dip it back into the baking soda. Then I want to make sure this doesn't come off on the back. I'm going to get this with some baking soda here. I'm going to soak this. I'm going to follow the shape of this a little bit. I'm just going to get my cloth glued like that. Then I can use that brush to kind of get it around everywhere where I need it to be. Then I want to have a little bit of a fold in it, like that. So it's not perfect. Okay. I'm going to use it to clean up my spider webs. And I'm going to leave it hanging like this for a moment to solidify. Oh, drop my brush. Okay. Cool. Now, to paint it, I'm going to get a lid and a little dab of glue. I'm going to shove it down on that lid, just like that. And I'm going to snip off some of this excess toothpick on the sides, just like that. Okay. Let me put our baking soda and stones away. I'm going to air dry some of the loose baking powder off of it, or baking soda off of it. Just like that. Then I'm going to black bomb it. I'm not going to shake my paint very well because my arm hurts. Okay. Set that there. I'll air dry that. And it should be pretty close right there. We're going to get a cheapy brush, something that'll give us decent coverage, but I'll do a lot of workforce. I'm going to get a piece of cardboard. I'm going to get some of that burnt umber from the Walmarts. Just a dab of that. I'm going to get my brush damp with my nasty paint water. And I'm going to get in here and paint this up. I really want to get in the cracks because my spray paint, because of how fast I did that, probably didn't get in all the cracks, right? So I'm just going to make sure my brush is damp. Force my brush down into those crevices, because we don't want any of that white showing. Okay. Now, if you're missing some of the surface area, I wouldn't worry about that too much, but you really want to make sure you're getting down in the cracks and covering up that white, or you're going to come back with a wash and play silly games later. Okay. Now mine's having drama because I didn't put enough super glue or enough hot glue. So I'm going to just get some more hot glue real quick. There we go. We're just going to stick that on there a little bit with a little more contact area. We're focusing up on that stick really. And then I see some area where I didn't get into the white. I'm going to make sure I get in there with some wet brown. Okay. Now you can get it on the cloth some in some areas, but it's not crucial that you get it everywhere because we're going to be painting this cloth red. All right, we're going to air dry that. Should be ballpark dry. I'm gonna get a brush to do the red. I'm just getting a chunky, cheapy brush. I'm gonna get some red paint. Crusty water, some of this red paint. Get that brush bristle off of there because we don't want that. And I'm just gonna carefully start at the edges, work my way on this, doing a half-ass paint job. I'm putting 100% effort into doing half-ass work, okay? That way if someone's like, oh, it looks like you didn't try, you can be like, dude, I gave this 100%. And then they'll feel like a jerk for saying something. You'll just be like, haha, this only took me like 20 minutes to do, or whatever, however long it takes. Okay. Sweet. Get the back side. Okay. And that should be pretty much good enough for what we need here. Just make sure I get around the edges so there's no black sticking out. That's close enough for government work, I'm thinking. Okay. I just got it, dipped it in the water to get into those cracks a little better. Okay. Air gun. Dark gray on the base. I'm using a punk rock color called Pavement. I'm hitting my big rocks with this. Give it that like fantasy realism aesthetic. Like we know rocks just aren't gray with like a gray dry brush. We know that. If you go out and look in nature, they don't look like that. But if you use this kind of combo I'm using here, it sells. It looks, you know, for theatrical purposes, it looks like what you need it to. Okay. Okay, let's get some of that dark brown again, some of that burnt umber, and go around the outside. Doesn't matter if you get a little bit of that gray mixed in with it, it's just going to add some variation that'll look okay. So I'm just got my really wet brush. I'm going back around with this burnt umber and just cleaning up around my rocks. Just like that. Okay. If you want to get in here a little bit and touch up some of that area where you might have overdone it, you could do that too. I'm not too worried about it. Hot air. piece of bristle or something stuck in there. I'm going to pull that out real quick. There we go. All right, now we're going to get a medium or a light gray. I'm grabbing a medium lightish gray called elephant gray. We just want to get a little dib-a-dab of that. That's way more than I needed. Get a soft brush, like something from the Dollar Tree, like a makeup brush. Something like that. Get a lot of that off there. Drag it around on those stones. No particular attempt at perfection. You can hit that dirt with a little bit too if you wanted. Doesn't really matter at this point. I'm going to dab my stick up with it to make my stick look a little beat up and old. I'm going to touch around a little bit on my cloth here. Then I'm just going to leave that in there. I'm going to get a lighter red. This is called Cardinal Red. Nope, not using Cardinal Red. I'll use Flag Red. And just with that little bit of gray that was in my brush, I'm just going to use that to lighten this up and make it a little ugly. Get a little bit brown in there. Okay. Then I'm just going to goose up my flag a little bit. Just like that. Okay. Now, I paint little goblins on my flags, my goblin stuff. So I'm just going to get a light green color. For that, I'm using palm leaf. I'm using kind of a smaller, finer brush to do this. It's just a cheapy synthetic brush still, though. I'm painting a circle. And that's like the goblin head. And then I just do like some little like ears. It looks kind of like Yoda at this point. Just like that. Air dry it. We're almost done. With that little tiny brush, I'm just going to get a little bit of that darker red. I'm going to do a little teeny mouth on there in red. Then I'm just going to get some white. Off-white will do real good for this. You can use a teensy-weensy brush or a toothpick or pretty much anything for this step. But you want to make sure that red's dry. You want to give your goblin two little eyes. And with the corner of the toothpick, just dab out a couple little teeth on there. Oh, I fucked them all up. See that? So I'm going to get my red. Just clean that up a little bit. So his teeth aren't super pronounced and big. Now, notice that I didn't do good at the bottom down here. So I'm going to have to get my red brush back out and some of that brown paint. I have to go around the outside of the base one more time real quick, and then we'll be done. But this is a super easy craft that you can do with your, significant other or a friend or your children, I suppose, or by yourself. And you can throw out like banners and little just like little spikes and stuff. Just little crappy things. Maybe you can throw a couple skulls on here if you had them. A giant skull would be cool. Okay, so once you got that, and you're pretty happy with yours, get glue, white glue, or you could use super glue, I suppose, but I like using white glue because it dries really clear. So I'm going to get a little bit of clear glue, and a little brush. Look at that, prophylactic. can't breathe today. And I'm going to get some of that, and put it in just some spots where I want to add some color. And for my color, I'm adding green flock. Okay, so I have a couple different green flocks. The one I'm picking here is a very bright mossy green. It's going to be a pretty significant contrast. And then I'm not going to clear coat this, but you could if you wanted to. So let's pop this off the base here. Sits nice and flat, just like we want it to. And it's just a nice little Goblin banner. Hey, my name's Doom, and this has been Dungeons and Doom Biscuit. If you like what we're doing here on the channel, help us out. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, leave a comment. All the happy crappy that helps the channel grow. Also, go down in that description below, and you'll find a link to our Discord and our website, www.dungeon-swag.com. There's also a discount code down there. If you'd like to get some miniatures at an amazing value, that's the place to do it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.